Okay, so making Ryan, Mito, and Wiki Cossack my bitch is what I named the wreck. So I'm just gonna start now, and just if people miss it, I'll just upload it to YouTube. Obviously, I don't have like I haven't been live for that long, so I haven't got everyone I wanted here, but I will upload it later. Anyway, so this is a 3v3 with me, Donati, aka Korn, and Answers here versus the big boys, Mito, Wiki Cossack, and H2O. And so it is French, German, Brit versus Dutch, Port, German. So I'm just going to play it. I don't know how this works actually, because I haven't actually played many Rex, so I think I'm going to play it slowly for now because it seems like normal speed, and then play it fast when it gets a bit slow. So to begin with, I know, so the matchup, our civs, Dutch and Port, are much better in H3. Their composition's better in H3, their units are better in H3, and they're both quite highly economical civs. Meanwhile, if we go to German, French, and Brit, they're very good in H2, and they can have stacked Team Cav cards. So they can have the Team German attack, Team French attack. They've also got Brit Musks. Whilst we've only got Port Musks, for example, I can't make Musks, and neither can Dutch. So they could have like double carded or even triple carded Cav with like double carded Musks in H2 prolonged. So we want to get H3. So Don's like, okay, I accept that I can't keep up in the Cav count with two very heavy Cav civs with upgrades and more mass. So he's like, okay, I want to go FF, and I agree with him. I think that's the right call. Meanwhile, my decision would be to buy as much time as possible. So actually, I'm going to go to my point of view and just going to have the fog wall off for the meantime. So what I decide to do is do like a proxy base, which buys time for my Port and Dutch mate to do their booms and then get some mass out later. So going into this game, I know, no offense to my teammates, they played well this game, but overall, Wicked Cossack, H2O, Mito just outclassed them. Just because they've just been top players for a long time. So we played a game beforehand, so I was going to do the same thing again. Just going to communicate that to my team. We weren't on voice chat, so we just typed. I played better without voice chat individually, but obviously played better as a team when on voice chat. So I decided to just have them like muted and stuff, and just typed when needs be. Ideally, I think voice chat would be better though. Now, so I just let my team know, okay, I'm going to buy as much time for you guys to boom as possible, get Port H3 and get some goons to make sure their cav advantage is negated, whilst he's got some skirms to back them up. In the meantime, I'm just going to keep the pressure on the left side and take control of the entire left side of the map to myself. I'm just trying to negotiate, trying to get a shot, but he doesn't have one, and Don's building a TP, so I'm going to end up losing my hero, which is not ideal because I won't be able to get a TP. But on the other hand, Wicked Cossack, I think he's low HP. So after this engagement, he gets low HP, and he won't be able to TP either, so neither of the Germans will get a TP. In this game, I believe these guys do in fact go for the map control play. French, Brit, good at massing, very reliant on food, so they just want to take the map as much as possible. So they're going to FB around mid-map, so like here, or even like here if they really want to pressure this guy, or like here if they really want to pressure me. He's also already laying down the wall. I think this is a bit too early. No one's aged up yet. He'd rather go for the bank first before walling. But I guess at least it's down, right? At least they haven't blocked it. Now, I'm gonna pause it just for a little bit and just go through the decks. So this is Wicked's deck. It's a little bit suboptimal. There's not many economical cards. There's not a whole lot of upgrades, to be perfectly honest. There's no plantation cards. 3 Dops is a bit questionable. 2 Settler Wagon is a bit questionable. The rest of H2 is fine. H3, I think there's just too many unit shipments. There's like 9 Black Rider you don't need, 8 skirmishers you don't need, and the rest are kind of just optional but can have. Like 9 Cav is really good. 3 War Wagons is good for any, like, for example, Musk Huss Yulon pushes, for example. And Jaegers are just so nice to have in your composition. And obviously 2 factories, and this card has been nerfed a lot, so I'd have this outside my deck. Meanwhile, if we go to Answers here, his Dutch deck, it's mostly okay. I'd take out 4 Vils, I'd take out Black Riders, I'd add 9 Reuters, and I'd take out... actually, no, the rest is fine. I'd probably put a mill card instead of 4 Vil, and another mill card instead of 7 Black Riders, and just have it as that. And take out a plantation card for 9 Reuters, and then that should be good to go. So this is what I think is the most ideal German deck. You've got Team Mills, you've got 2 plantation cards, you've got 8 bows for any pressure, you've got 9 Ulons, 3 War Wagon, 12 Jaegers, as I mentioned before. I've been messing around with the cavalry speed. It's actually really nice because Ulons become faster than goons, so they're really annoying to catch, as you'll see later on in this game. And 2 heavy cannons is just really nice because I sometimes like to FI with Germans and you need stuff to hold. And you're not going to outskirm them or anything, so you just got to go War Wagon, 2 heavy cannon, which is a nice combo. And then that's just self-explanatory, the rest of the Euchre cards. Brit deck, it's not ideal, it's mostly fine. Could take out VC, could take out 9 Musk, need 1k wood I think, and could take out a plantation card as well for like 5 Huss or 10 Longbow. So that's mostly good. French deck, way too upgrade heavy, I think. I think you should take out Advanced Arsenal for 600 coin. I think you should take out 1 plantation card for 2 heavy cannons or cheaper cures or cheaper gendarmes. It's just way too upgrade focused, I think. And there's just not enough units, I think, as well. And of course, if you're not really going to be going skirms as French, so you're going to be going goon gendarme, and then maybe mix like voltages late game. But like this is for team, obviously it's good. This is for skirms and Vil, so that's all right. And then AA, I feel like is unnecessary. Team Cav is Cav training is good. So yeah, it's just too upgrade focused. Don's deck. Pretty much what I'd have, to be honest. I'd probably take out Mams for 600 coins so you have a bit more H2 potential. And yeah, that's about it. Maybe take out this for 8 bow. Actually, you need 8 bow as well. So yeah, I'd take out this for 8 bow. You've already got this card in and this card in, so your coin income's good enough. And your scaling's good enough as well. And also the sheep is very smart in this particular game because obviously these guys are more aggressive civs. They're going to take the map. We're going to get zoned off resources. He's already got it down, by the way. I'm going to just play it slowly, just because it's quite a long game. Actually, I'll play it a bit faster. So yeah, he's got a good. That's good for this sort of game, and you'll see it will come into play later. And we've been to Wicked Cossack deck. So let's go back to my perspective. I'm going to leave it on Fog of War, so I'm going to set the wagon out here. I've also walled up here, because I know I'm not going to have much defence at home. My stable's going to be out here. My mate is going FF, and my other mate is going Dutch skirms in base, so he's also built a wall. So I need to have this protection, like this layer of wall first. Make sure you delete the pillars to save wood and build time. And in the meantime, I can't build on the ice, so there's actually a coin mine here. I should have been gathering from that. I didn't see it though, so I was just gathering from that for the meantime, and I'm just going to go hunt that. So, they scout the TC, they're going to get a lot of damage down. That's good for them. Oh, yeah, I just want to showcase this. Maito being the best player in the game, he's just sent his tower wagon to his TC. This is the sort of noobs we're playing. That was funny. So they're like trying to pressure Dutch, but they realise, oh, he's walled. Okay, let me pause this quickly. So I'm just going to cover this quickly. So I sent my first 2 Ulans from the shipment to try and catch a Vil. building the FB, because I know that I get an FB with a Civ combo, and I think we saw the Vils early as well. So I can sometimes Germans can pick up a Vil before they get their first batch out, depending on the map size, depending on how far your TC spawns. So I like to go and try and pick off a Vil. I got lucky and got a native scout instead, but Wicked managed to get his Ulans to sort of deflect me, because I was going to try and snipe one of these Vils, but they're all here now, so that didn't work out too well. In the meantime, I'm raiding Ryan, or H2O. I'm going to idle his entire eco, and that's going to force him back. So this me, and even Wicked's pulled back some Ulans as well, but he's going to go back to attack me. So this is good, because Hussars are better like straight up fights in general with like infantry plus cav combos, because they're so tanky and they can snare better. Ulans obviously DPS, but they're going to die quite quickly to musks and even just any ranged fire. So having the Huss, just like 5 Huss versus 5 Ulan, is obviously much more investment than the 5 Ulan. So this is good for me. The Huss are chasing my Ulan. They're not going to be pressuring our base here. So there's going to be my presence here is I even pick off a Vil here, and I barely don't get snared. So that's good for me. They're pushing in the meantime whilst Ryan's distracted. His second batch was also delayed because I idled him, so it means they've got 2 cav batches out here just because I sent 5 Ulans for my first batch. My next batch is going to defend because there's obviously this big push, and I think ants. Yeah, I think this is like the key mistake of the game. If this was a pikeman, he'd be able to have 5 skirm and 8 pike on the field, and minutemen as well, if needs be. He ends up just losing his skirms with team infantry HP. I was just trying to pick off reinforcements, but didn't get to do so. Pull back the musks, so that gives him a bit more time. It's all about playing around with cav. If you're the cav player, you've got to play with time. It's all about buying time for your teammates, all about keeping map presence. So I see nice reaction time by red. So here come 5 Goon, gonna clean up 2 Ulans, maybe. Ooh, doesn't quite get the shot off. Here comes some H2O cav. I've got 4 more cav here, and now they're going for this TC. I forgot about this. So they're going over here. We're going to lose a TC and a Vil. In the meantime, we're going to go clean this up. So the skirms should be on the musk. The Minutemen should be popping out. I'm sort of just trying to keep him here, sort of dancing with my cav. I'm going to go back to my point of view so you'll see my waypoints. So hard to navigate this. So I'm trying to dance, get these. I was like signaling to Ant to get his skirms over here, and then I take this horrible trade, just trying to snare them. I also wanted Minutemen, but he didn't have the resources, and we were a bit late on tributing him, so this trade could have gone much better. I ended up losing a lot of Ulans, and Mito microed his musks really well. In the meantime, I've just been idling the French player, so his batches haven't been as good. He only has 5 Huss out right now. So basically, whilst all this is happening, I've just been keeping the French player busy with like random. And yeah, this is where I was just a bit annoyed, because I could have so much more cav presence like on the map, like 8 more cav or whatever. Yeah, I should have just fed him, but that was just a bit of a miscommunication. Voice chat would have just changed that. So I've just gone 3 settler wagons, 700 wood, dropping a barracks with the 700 wood, getting amalgamation because I've noticed I've got 3 mines, another 2 here. So I've got all these mines locked down, another one here even, just because I have this stable here. Like, I've just taken so much map control by being slightly aggressive, and you'll see later on it's going to distract them. So he's trying to catch my 2 Ulan raid. I don't even think they've scouted it yet. Yeah, they have no idea this is here. They saw my first 5 cav come through, but that was at like 6:30, I think, or something like that, just after like the first batch. So I don't know if I just built a stable and base and sent around, or if I built the stable here. And I think Ryan was like checking to see if there was like a Vil or like a stable or a proxy FB, and he just couldn't find one. he went all the way around the FB actually, and he sees my cav now, and I see his, so I was just like, okay, I'm going to pick that off. They know, okay, so they send a lot of cav my way, and I know they have a lot of cav just because I've seen them from the skirm poking and the goons poking, so I know, they see the dragoons here, so I know they're coming from me. At least one person is, at least. So I'm going to go from my perspective. So I put a DOP in queue. And then I realised, okay, they're coming to me. I'm just going to finish out this batch and just pretend that I'm bad and just bait him, basically. So he's going to go in. And then, yeah, we see a Yulan delete. And this is just going to be a sick trade for me. In the meantime, Maito's just massing longbows and just fending off the Goon Skirm push for the time being. And behind this, I aged. Wicked Cossack did age up. Ports has obviously been H3 for a while. And Don's just like, the Port player is just like, okay, they're going infantry and cav. A lot of the cav is back here distracted or just being dead, and French player's up as well, so he's going to be doing dragoons as well. So what does that mean? They also scouted the barracks from Germans, so he's going to be like, okay, they're not going to be, they don't have much hand cav left. They don't have much pushing power. So what he's going to do is just go industrial, and I agree with his decision because I'm just keeping him busy here. Like I killed, I get a huge raid. He hasn't got great coats versus a proxy German TC, proxy German stable. That's a huge mistake. So in the meantime, our mates are just free to boom. Anta's got all 5 banks. He's just massing skirms. Ports is just going industrial. They're just doing new things they exactly want to do, and Germans want to be taking small fights like this because their stuff is low HP but high attack. So DOP's expensive, low HP, well, not that low obviously because it's a DOP, it's 200 res, but they're high attack and they're expensive and they're melee units. So you want to be taking these sort of small fights because that's where German units really excel. You want to be having small, like Yulon trades, DOP trades. So I end up killing a whole bunch of Huss, kill the settler wagon, kill like 5 CDBs, and I just let I think I let my teammates know that I killed a whole bunch of Vils, and they're kind of a bit on the back foot. And we see this envoy saying it's TC, so I think we're going to push that at some point, or we should do at least. I'm not sure if we do. And in the meantime, Ports is on TC, 2 TCs, he's going to age up for a 3rd one, and he's probably going to ship 2 heavy cannons to push out and get the map control back, because he's running out of hunts. That's where the sheep came into play. He managed to get age 4 with that, and yeah, he does deny this TC quite nicely. If we go to my perspective again, first ship in age 3, 1k wood, pretty much always. No other reason to ship anything else unless they're pushing, where you ship 3 war wagons or something, or you ship 1k coin and go FI. But I wanted to stay H2 for a bit and just keep Ryan out of this game, keep H2 like down basically, because I know if we just, so I'm gonna pause it here. If we just had like a macro game, if we were playing H2 and we just had like my Yulons here and I wasn't dicking around over here keeping him idle, we just have us 3 versus them 3, with them having better micro, better mass, better H2 civs. We're just going to get outplayed, I think. Like, that's what I thought when I clicked into the game. Like, these guys are good team players, but they're not on the same level as these guys. So I just thought, okay, we need to do a different sort of strategy. We can't just play them straight up, essentially. Also, if I play them straight up, I'm not really abusing my civ strengths at all. So we saw Wicked just abusing Yulons as well, just keeping this not expanded too far, like not a 3rd TC like over here. He killed that TC with like the help of Ryan's Huss as well. So he's just trying to restrict the map of the Portuguese player. Likewise, I am with the French player. So yeah, and now they're going longbow versus skirm. The longbows are H2. He has got carded skirms. I think he's got both cards in H2. And meanwhile, Wicked's just constantly having Yulan pressure. Even just idling Vils is just quite a big deal. Just having, like, he didn't even go and raid them. He just put them in the line of sight and moved back. And he just idled like 4 Vils and they're still in the TC. So I drop a TC here. I know there's like 2 hunts here. I got a mine here. I got a mine here. I got another hunt here. So I think this is a really good TC location. It's hard for them to come and pressure and kill my Vils because there's only one way to it. And I've got my FB here, so I can easily defend it. Now, I went 1k coin after to mass, but I end up shipping Jaegers afterwards. So, I think Don said he was going for a goon raid or something like this. So he mentioned to mix in some anti-cav, which he does smartly. So if the other team does have like spare cav hanging around, they can't just go and nuke him because he has wolves and halbs, so that's good. He's going to respond to this. Meanwhile, I'm pushing the French player's base, and meanwhile, Port is catching a raid and now heading back because there's just this push happening. Meanwhile, Yellow's, I'm kind of just 1v1ing Ryan, sort of, but his stable's out of position. So this is the good thing. Like he's gone FB with his teammates, like that's normal. But he's got to send his cav from here all the way to here to defend my my pressure. And if he doesn't come and defend, he's pushing here, then it's just going to be like, eventually he's going to be like taken out of the game. Just because he's not gathering at all, or he's moving his Vils a lot. So yeah, I'll get another Vil. He sent all his goons to come deflect me, but I'm going to have skirms to deflect those off. Putting back my cav, sending my skirms forward. In the meantime, we got 2 heavy cannons. We got the Portuguese dragoons, and we got the skirmisher mass from Dutch. This is the situation we wanted to be in. We wanted carded goons, carded skirms, and heavy cannons in general. We wanted Port and Dutch to make their best units, and we want them to have like a fairly decent economical state. And if we just played flat out at age 2, we would have been just out-cabbed, out-mussed. Like their composition's just better because they got so much more cav upgrades and stuff like that. So this little pressure, I think, did really well. Just being here, like, not even like killing builds, just having this presence here, just like distracts them a lot. So I'm trying to split up my skirms as much as possible. War wagons on Falcons and just picking up low HP goons. In the end, I think it's a decent trade for me. He lost his only unit ship in an H3. I pick off a decent amount of goons and I don't have to worry about Falcons anymore when I've got Jaegers on the way and 5 war wagons, so I can easily just go back in again with these 5 war wagons. In the meantime, I've got heavy cannon skirm pushing longbow skirm. And I kind of want to cover this again, so I'm going to turn off the fog of war. They're going longbow skirm and only Ryan has the mobility. Now, if we were to add cav, they'd be dead. But obviously I'm usually the one making cav as the German civ. Ports can't really mix because he's still trying to recover his eco. He didn't actually train too many Vils, and he's even getting raided. He actually just got industrial quickly with the sheep and 1k coin. Let me go to his perspective quickly. So he's only on 38 Vils at 15 minutes. It's not a high Vil count with Port. He's also only just getting his market upgrades now. But the thing is, he did the quick FI, so he hasn't been training Vils much. He saved the food to get H4, and then he's either going to put his factories on food or coin and just try and get as many units out as possible, with the help of 2 heavy cannons to just hold the initial pressure, which was a good decision. Heavy cannons was good. It got us the map back a little bit. Like, they haven't got a TC here. We're not completely choked out. We could easily just move to this mine and hunt, for example, and even just here. So we got very heavily upgraded. They're fully carded, I think. Haven't got AA though, but they're fully carded H3 Dutch skirms. Meanwhile, Wicked has no cards on his skirms at all. And this is what I mean. I really dislike German players going heavy on skirms, like pure skirms, in like these sort of trades. Because one, they don't have the thing that they want, which is map presence. Well, he's got some here. Like, he's got some Ulan raids from the free Ulans, which is good. But if he hasn't got like war wagons to cover the longbows, if he hasn't got Ulans, more Ulans raiding, like I haven't been raided this entire game, and it's 15 minutes I'm against French and German. Like, that's a big mistake. They're like double cav, and I haven't been raided a single time. Obviously, it's harder to raid me. There's a wall, I'm on the edge, and I've got my FB here. But, I mean, they could easily just run cav around here and stuff like that. But, yeah, he's just got less map presence than I do. And just skirm longbow. They're solely relying on French to catch every single raid and hold this pressure that I'm doing, which is just not possible for him to do. So I want to see some juicy heavy cannon volleys. Boom. It's not a bad one. So this raid gets quite a lot of vills actually. I think he's not going to react just because of how much shit's going on here. Oh, he does. So he doesn't lose all of them. That's nice. So in the meantime, I'm getting my Jaegers out, getting 5 war wagons, and I know the only thing I can die to is 5 cures, and with the eco he's got, he's at like 1300 score. I know he can't have that many cures, so if I think 5 war wagons and Jaegers is enough to kite my way out any cav situation. On the other hand, we could ship something like 9 Ulans, but that's not something you really want to do in a team game. He's actually industrial actually. So I was just like, okay, Wicked's industrial, he can't have gendarmes, I'm going to push him with 5 war wagon. In the meantime, I'm going to add a stable this side to get some map presence that way. And oof, that was a big volley on the skirms. He's going to get a nice, lovely volley. Come on, I want to see it. Beautiful. Okay, so Maito trained Coles in return. He also went to age 4 himself. His score is very good. His boom is very good. I'm going to switch back to my point of view. So I'm just playing quite confident here. I think that was a pause or something, I'm not sure. So I'm playing quite confident, I'm going deep in the eco. I know there's not much stuff that can really nuke me. So I'm just going to kill vills, keep these war wagons back to cover me. And in the meantime, I think I'll go industrial shortly after. Maybe after this batch. But I'm just keeping Ryan idled. There's like 7 or 8 vills in this TC. I think 8 vills. And I'm just taking good trades on his on his goons. I've even forced Wicked to move his skirms back, so now it's just Maito here versus my 2 mates. So this is cause for them to get the map back, like secure this mine and this mine, if they so wish to go onto them. Unfortunately, my stable gets caught out by these Ulans. This is what I mean. Just having map presence just denies what, like for example, this game. I've felt like I've been able to get away with a lot of things. Just because I haven't been raided, I haven't been forced off resources. And Wicked's sort of doing the same over here, like Port is just, he's being relentless with his Ulan raids over here, he's just trying to keep Port idled. And in the meantime it's very carded skirms versus, I think he's a team ranged infantry as well, but from the French player. Maybe not actually. Yeah, maybe 20 is just the base. I think their base is 17 in H2, so yeah, 20 sounds about right. And he gets a good trade, picks off a heavy cannon and a bunch of skirms, and he should be taking his longbows to guard at some point. See a Ulan raid, he's being chased by a lot of dragoons. I think I try and head it off with the shipments. I think I have 3 Ulans nearby. Maybe not. So I lose a Vil, but he's going to lose his Ulan, so that's not the best trade, but it's alright in a team game. More Ulans coming through. I'm just going to go on this, just right click on resources. So it's literally just clicked on the coin mine right now. And I might get 1 Vil. No, I'm going to pull back. So I'm just going to send some up here and then send 1 further down, but he does a good job of splitting up his goons. That Ulan raid gets dealt with, and now they're pushing with their rocket, longbow, skirm, Kolv. And this is just such a mobile composition. I can just run them around, and so can Port as well. He can just run his goons around. These guys can't catch it. This TC was a bit optimistic, to be honest. There's always like their FB is just here, so ideally I should have put it back here. But I do end up losing a bunch of vills here. I didn't actually see them at first behind the trees, and then I realised, oh fuck, I have 10 vills here, so I end up losing a bunch of vills there. So this is when it was just like, this is like the first time my eco's been pressured, like almost 20 minutes into the game. And this is where we communicate, okay, he's got rockets, he's got coals, we need to add Kolv, and I agree with him. I couldn't really add Kolvs at this point. My macro is not really sorted out for it, and well, Germans really want to save their coin for every other unit, and Dutch has got like infinite coins, so it's good for him to mix it, and he does, so that was a good decision. And then I said to my port mate, we need you to mix Husk because they're double skirm, and I've been keeping his, he hasn't got many goons as well, I've been keeping his goon count low, and I did get the stable up by the way, and I've just been rallying Ulans all over the map. Straight into a 4 like a dumbass, but yeah, the thought counted. And yeah, here we go, Wicked with the raid over there. So I'm going industrial now. I think Ants is making coals. Yeah, if we look at H-Raid macro, he's just not really gathering resources for quite a long time. And, well, in the meantime, Wicked Cossack's eco has been taking off. And Maito's actually. Maito's eco has just been completely untouched. He's on 76 builds right now. And he's got a lot of map control with Brit, which is just very powerful. In the meantime, we're going to attempt to hold this. I'm going to go back on the Fog of War. So there was 5 cures here trying to pick off a heavy cannon, but my war wagons and the goons got there to stop it. And we have quite a good defensive position here. So we've got a heavy cannon. We've got closer reinforcements, and we're going to have Colves to deal with these rockets at some point. He's trying to move them up, but honestly, Siege and TC would probably be better. These skirms probably need to move up as well. He's saying Colv almost here, so we're just like trading before, we're just out of range of artillery barely. In the meantime, I'm just going to keep them busy with raids. Notice how there's no goons here, it's because he's just chasing my raids. And at some point, this will come back to bite them in the arse. So I'm just rallying Ulans. They come across some mill. That's nice. I'm going to just send these just down the bottom of the map or something. I think I saw a foundation of a mill, so I'd go to raid that. Here come the Coals. We've got carded skirms, even carded Jaegers with team HP from the Dutch. And we're just going to clean up this artillery mass, and we got the good concave as well, so they're just going to be forced to retreat. Meanwhile, I'm just raiding Wicked. I think I've got like 2 vills there for 4 Ulans, not the best, but this raid's much better. So the goons are here, they're now coming over here. I think I've got about 5 vills there. And yeah, they're forced to retreat, and he's got Janit Dragoons, so that's always a big win for ports. I've also got another raid going on here. I think I right click here. Yep, I do. There's a raid over here, and I just go right click this TC with war wagons because we just clean them up. I know they haven't got much cav, and I think Don's going to go goon raid as well, which we can afford to do because I'm just keeping them busy. More Ulans being flooded through. These Ulans did get cleaned up, unfortunately, so I'm just trying to kill bills and stuff. I think I end up deleting these war wagons because I just forgot about them at some point. But yeah, I'm just trying to raid the French player again. See bills on this wood line, gotta go raid those. Meanwhile, their Dragoon count is just trying to match Don's. Just Janit Dragoon versus French Dragoon, and he sent Genitors, so he's got more range. So he's just gonna trade really well. In the meantime, he told Ants to mix more halbs, and he's gone behind the walls, so he's safe from any cav switch. This is me just being super confident, just like, yep, I'm going to gather from his mine. Yeah, and these war wagons just get picked off. I think I'd just forget about them. More Ulan raids, pick your fills on this TC. And when the game is like passive like this now, when nothing's happening but these raids, it's good for us. Because it's buying time. Yeah, there we go. War wagon delete. It's buying time, and we're slowly depleting their eco. Even if the investment's a little bit more, like 2 Ulans for like 1 or 2 vills is obviously too much, a lot of investment. But eventually, that's going to pay off. In a game like this, where it's just stalling time, it's definitely going to work. And then my mate definitely says like. Just confirms that they're distracted, they're chasing the goons, chasing the Ulans. I even managed to pick off a Colv here, just because, yeah, because Ulans. They're quite good at that. So Ants is like, okay, I'm free to push. They're all over the map trying to chase Ulans and Janit Dragoons. They can't deal with this. They've got guard longbows, but Khorne decides to mix in some Huss, which is a smart decision. I've got some more Ulans raiding. chasing Janine Dragoons, just the usual stuff. So these husks can now get on top of these longbow, and Coles can get on top of the rockets and other Coles. So these husks, they don't even need to DPS the longbow, they just need to be here, because they're just tanking from the skirmishing mass. In the meantime, I'm just going to fend off the war wagons as long as possible with my little infantry mass. I don't really want to have this anymore. I could have controlled them better, but I just want these war wagons to not be over here killing these husks and goons, for example. So overall, this is a good trade for us. We kill a whole bunch of cannons, we kill a whole bunch of longbow, and I think Red should pull back now, which he does. He's just losing a lot of goons there. We've lost a lot on like the retreat. So I'm out of coin, completely out of coin, so I think I've got both my factories on coin, which I do. Delete my skirms because I'm not very good, and he's going to go catch this raid. So I've got 5 Yulons here. I think at some point, I think I rally them around the fort. I think I have them rallied here, and then I send them down here somewhere. These 2 Yulons headed down here on this mill probably. These 5 are on this mill here as well. Just keeping them distracted whilst my mates are just like teching their skirms again. I think Ants went to H4 now, so you can see the scores. Like the French player has just been constantly down due to this constant pressure, constant trying to catch raids and stuff like that, getting more raids over here. So he's been falling behind. Like even if I've been trading all my Yulons, he's just behind in the game, and my eco's just been growing. So my eco's just been untouched, even if I went a bit more aggressive. So the lesson to be learned is like, don't just blindly greed, like whenever you think it's good, because it turns out being aggressive can be more economical. If that makes sense, because you have more natural resources. Like, I managed to gather 2 mines over here, 2 mines here, just because I have full map control on the left side of the map. Got a little Yulon there, that's not good. So we've got war wagon, a bit of skirm, and some guard longbow. These are guard war wagon, by the way. So he's picked up his war wagon. I did kill a bunch of Vils on this hunt because I saw them with my Vils. I just rallied 10 Yulons over there. I'm sending cavalry speed to be extra obnoxious to have Yulons. So it goes from 6.75 to 7.43. I'm just mentioning to my teammates, hold on, they're getting pushed back. Like, we obviously have less army here. I even pick off the Coles whilst the war wagons are over here. So that's a really good trade for us as well. And then I'll move these back. And then I try and catch reinforcements because I know all the war wagons are here. I'm not sure where the goons are at this point, so this can be a bit risky, but he doesn't have that many goons and he's still H3, so it's not like he can just DPS all these Yulons down instantly. So I was just like trying to catch off any longbows, any war wagons, like a batch of 5 war wagon for example. So I see his goons here, I think I back off now. And I do. And he's Korn, aka Dornart, he's just trying to snipe as many war wagons as possible. I said to him, it's a good time for a cav switch. I think he's doing one as well. He's got many husks in queue, he's got 15 husks. I come here just to like threaten the war wagons, but I'll move away again so the war wagons don't get an extra shot. So they missed the shot basically just by moving. And when these 15 hussar pop, we're gonna go. Unfortunately, they're only vet hussar, but they're gonna do the job. Meanwhile, I'm raiding with 10 Yulons here, a couple of Yulons here, so the goons have gone back to deal with those. In the meantime, these skirms and these goons are doing their best job to pick off as many war wagons as possible. I think my teammate mentions to attack now. I'm going to go in. War wagons are out of position. Skirms are going to these goons and skirms are going to do their job to just focus these down. And this is only happening because there's so much anti-cav just chasing 4 Yulons and 4 Yulons here and some Yulons here. You could say, oh, that amount of Yulons in the fight would be better, but it just means there's less anti-cav and less range stuff. So when there's like I said before, Germans like smaller fights, and when there's like less anti-cav involved, that's when Yulons really shine. And being mixed in with Huss like this, the Huss are tanking so much, the Yulons are just going to DPS everything down. And my teammates did a really good job of just forcing the war wagon away. both orange and red had really good micro there. Just got really dwindled the war wagon mass down. In the meantime, still raiding, just constantly keeping up the pressure. And this is the turning point, I think. I think this cleanup is where we start to win. Nice catching that raid. Even sending the goons back. I think, and then this is where I start massing dots, because I just think he just aged up, right? And he didn't have a big Dragoon mass to begin with. He's got 3 TCs, so he's trying to get back into the game. He's not going to have a huge Dragoon count. So what I'm going to do is just do like a dop skirm push. And of course, sending a bunch of longbows is going to be difficult because longbows are going to die to dops immediately. Wicked could do some skirms, but they're age 3, and this means it's going to cut his war wagon batches. And he needs his war wagon batches because we're doing like a cav switch. So this push is actually going to be quite successful. I'm massing them up a bit. I'm making a few skirms to like fend off any dragoons, because if I'm just sieging a TC and there's like 20 dragoons shooting, it's not going to be a good trade for me. But if I'm sieging a TC with 10 skirms behind, just picking at the goons, then it's going to be a good trade for me. So it's always good to have like some ranged fire in the back. So in the meantime, my teammates are pushing, Maito's mixing in musks because that cav switch scared him or something. I think he was better off just going for your longbows instead still. But he might be thinking that this map is running out of wood. Well, not in the middle, but that's like a contested area. So I was like thinking, oh, this map's running out of wood. I see him going musk. Maybe he's out of wood as well. So that was my pick off another build there, by the way. So that was my thought process. So they're going like musk war wagon, which is just going to be really good for these trades, for these skirmishes. In the meantime, I drop an artillery foundry this side. I really just want to get rid of this fort. In the meantime, pushing this side as well. He's not going to stop this anytime soon. Like, he's got to send skirms over here, and dots are quite fast, so... And I can easily just fill up with like 5 or 10 Udons in the back. He's sending some war wagons, but I'm just going to like have some skirms to defend these off whilst I see just TC and stuff. So he's adding more guard Huss, which is good. I think this is the right call, because he knows I'm over here. He knows they're going to send a bunch of dragoons or something to deal with it. So he's just getting his cav ready. He's got guard Huss. I think he's got the advanced, got the arsenal upgrade as well for HP. And so I've got P-Tars in queue. Just going to pick off a Vil there. And I'm just going to just right click on these mills, I think. And then I see, oh shit, there's a lot of dragoons. And I think I tell my teammates there's a lot of stuff over here. Yeah, I just flared it, and he goes yes. So they're just like, okay, let's push. But Maito does like a really good job of just camping in the choke. Oh, that's quite big, sniping a factory wagon with 10 Huss. So I'm just going to split up my dops so they actually have to micro war wagons and stuff to try and catch them. And in the meantime, I'm going to take out this fort. I've got Ulans in queue, and I'm just going to rally them onto his plantations and stuff. Just because I'm free to do so. This was nice by Maito. He's got a choke, he's got muskets and artillery, so he's going to take a really good trade here. If we had Colbs, this would be a completely different story. But we didn't. So Maito did a nice job 1v2ing there, whilst these guys are catching my my dops. I'm even sieging this wall to go right click that mill. And he did pick off that, I think it was a French factory, I'm not sure, or maybe a Brit one. And these Huss are going to come join me over here, I think. Okay, so here come the Kolv. Skirm Kolv is like really what you want versus this choky infantry artillery mass. So, I don't know what he shot at there, but he's just even if he's like taking artillery hits, he's still killing a shit ton of musks, so in the end it's still good for him. These Huss are a little bit stuck, maybe just forgotten about them, but in the meantime I'll just idle a couple of Ulans over here. Dops are sieging Ryan's houses. I'm going to check his population. It's just like, he's going to lose these, he loses these houses really quickly, and he drops pop a lot. I've also added another artillery foundry. I see this TC, I see longbows, and there's likely to be Vils nearby, although there isn't in this case, but he's obviously training Vils from it, so. And I think I have two Ulans and 2 stables queued up ready to like P-Tard cab this TC. And in the meantime, just putting up houses, raiding down here, just making sure their eco is just damaged, whilst my teammates are just trading. These fights are not that important. I mean, obviously they are, you want to be trading well, but even if you're trading insanely well, if you're just losing your eco, losing your housing, losing your bills, then your trades have got to be even more insane to like keep up. And yeah, I'll pick off this TC, these longbows. He's at 70 population right now. I didn't realise it was this bad in game. I just knew I killed a whole bunch of houses. So it's like 130 out of 70. He's just popped down like 7 houses. And now I'm just going to siege this wooden wall, but Wicked on the ball with his bastion timing. If we go to Wicked Cossacks, he's got such a high score. He's almost got resources to go Imperial. But the thing is, like, the constant pressure over here on these 2 plantations has stopped him. Because imagine if he spends 8k resources in Imperial and then just get forced off coin. That is just not a situation you want to be in at all. I'm still raiding, by the way. This dot pass push is going to go well. Unfortunately, I should have sent in the dots first. We sort of fucked this up a bit. If I send in dots first, the goons get forced back, and then he can just gather. Then he can just kill the vills whilst I'm forcing the goons away. But in the end, it's still not too bad, I guess. Kill some vills, kill some goons. It's not the biggest deal. In the meantime, these Ulans are just going unchecked, and we have Skirm Cole and some Genii Dragoons versus Musket War Wagons. So we just got the composition advantage. And we've just got the initiative advantage where we're just taking trades in their eco, which is what we want. We're just going to kill a bunch of settler wagons here, kill a bunch of bills. I'm going to speed this up a little bit. Ulan's just constantly raiding over here, Just constantly abusing Germans' strength in team games. And now I'm just going to start adding outposts just because why not? And you can see all the the attack sirens on the minimap. There's just so many from like Red Huss and my Ulans, obviously. And we see Portuguese and Imperial. That is not something you want to see as the enemy team. And I think he has, yeah, so he has petards in queue here. I'll remember this as well. So he's going to petard this TC, and I'm just going to follow up with Ulans. He's like sort of waiting for the right moment to go in. And he's actually sending his goons over here. So he's waiting for his petards to pop, and he's going to go in with the goons, I believe. In the meantime, he's still just trading Skirmisher Cole. They really should have done a cab switch at some point, so he can't just run around with dragoons. Obviously, melee units aren't that ideal in team games, just because you obviously need to be a melee to do damage and get good value out of your units. But obviously, when it's en masse, melee stuff sort of dies quite quickly when trying to reach things, especially hand cav versus dragoons that are carded so much. You need to invest into a hand cav switch to do anything. More Ulan raids, just goons trading, but obviously ports are just going to trade better with Genii Dragoon versus Guard Goon. In the meantime, I'm spamming more dops over here, and I think I'm going Imperial. Yeah, I'm going Imperial. I'm spamming skirms from this side. I'm just going to skirm dop here and then just dop here, see what buildings I can take out whilst he's distracted over here with Ance's army. I think I'll go for a second Rex. And then I think I'll go for a third one after. Oh no, maybe not. I think I'll pull back. So Ants is just going to move his Culverins up. Skirm Culver is just trading so well versus Musket Artillery. And now he's got Imperial Genii, so he's going to be trading well as well. So this is where it's just slowly snowballing. Well, kind of snowballed before, but it's just going in our favour even more. Wicked Cossack, who had resources to go Imperial, all of a sudden has nowhere near enough gold, just because we've just been keeping his economy really in check. And meanwhile, whilst all this game's been happening, all these Ulans on his mills and stuff, they haven't been pressuring Aihyo's at all. Yeah, we have walls, but I mean, you can easily add some dops or even just 20 cav and go in, but as we've been taking the initiative, they have to respond to us. We're just having like proactive gameplay versus reactive gameplay, and obviously proactive is just gonna reign supreme. So we see people all going Imperial, I'm Imperial, all my team's Imperial, and just H3 on the other team is Imperial. Very mismacroed. It's probably going to get Imperial Dragoons with this macro, I suspect. Not sure. So I'm just going to run Dobson again, force a response. You know, it's all about forcing responses. So here's our little timing push. Yulon Petard. You gotta kill this TC, you gotta kill the bills around it. And yeah, this is just game over essentially. They're gonna have trouble dealing with, like, I'm gonna have like Imperial Dops relatively soon. I'm gonna have, well, Guard Skirms, Royal Guard Skirms at some point. Meanwhile, we got Imperial Genete Port, Untouched Port, and then Untouched German. We're just gonna have insane ecos. And even with Dutch, like, Dutch isn't great late game. Germans and Ports are perfectly capable of feeding them to 150 pops. So I wasn't worried about Dutch being poor late game, just because they have really good skirms and a high pop, so we can just trade really well. And we've got Imperial skirms out as well. H throws out. He knows Genete Dragoons. He tied that wall. He knows that Genete Dragoon is just too good. He's not really macroed properly to keep in production compared to Don's macro. He's a bit macroed on coin, but I think he's got his factories on coin. Nope. Okay. Could do it one more plantation, but it's just picky at this point. But yeah, he's able to produce more Dragoons than Ryan is, and I've just got Dops on plantations and stuff, so it's just over at this point. Right, to summarise, buying time, getting map control with an aggressive build is very good. Keeps them distracted, makes them wary of like a potential push from this direction and a potential push from this direction. Imagine if this wasn't here, German would just send Yulons to raid me. I'd have to be gathering resources here and then here, and which we didn't really have the map secured. I'd be out of resources, and if I'm gathering here or even back here, like on the back mines, it means Port has less in-base resources. It means Dutch has less in-base resources, so we're gonna run out of maps. Run out of map earlier. There's a hunt here. Where did this come from? Anyway, so Port tried to do his best getting TCs on the right side. They did a good job earlier with the Yulon and the Huss to sort of keep this at bay. They didn't want like a Port TC here, Port TC here, Port TC here. Like this whole like half map secured. They had at the start they had about 2/3 of the map secured, like this sort of square here. But over time you can see all their ecos down here. Even this part of the eco was just constantly under pressure, just because I have this base here and I'm getting this base here now as well. So I've got this entire left side. Ports have got this right side. With the help of me a little bit, just only a batch of Yulon or two, but that's enough to like help turn the tide a bit. And then we just got Dutch doing like Dutch stuff, going skirm, artillery. So yeah, basically just abuse your civ strengths. I know Germans don't like taking heads up fights. Their stuff is high attack, low HP, expensive, so you want to be taking smaller fights because that's where your units excel. Ports, you want to avoid being H2 as long. You want to be at H3 as quickly as possible. Same with Dutch, but obviously we have to make units to deal with their double cav musket sort of pressure they tried to do. So like skirm, 8 pike, and then Yulons from me would be enough before goons came out. We've also got like a set of Minutemen here, set of Minutemen here, set of Minutemen here. So all the TCs are fairly close, which allows this sort of play. And then yeah, it sort of just snowballed into having the entire map here. And then all of them just being forced down into this little spot here. And even these mills weren't even that protected. I even just ran Yulon straight through here. And he ran Dragoon straight through here as well. So only this area was sort of somewhat protected. And this was just under fire now. So all their eco is just under pressure at most parts of the game. So I want to go to the resource graph. So I go to all resources gathered. Brett's boom was really good. Wicked's boom, my boom, and Portgood boom was really good as well. So Maito outgathered actually, because he was the one down here with all the map. So it's more about getting the map in team games. You could have, I don't know, like 50, 60 Brickvilles, but if you're all chopping wood, then they're just pretty much useless, right? I could have like 30 vills. I could literally have half the vills if they're gathering food and coin. I'm training units, he isn't. I can pressure his 60 vills gathering wood, game over. It's not quite as simple as that, but you get the picture. So map control is just really important, especially for like coin heavy civs like German, food heavy civs like Brit. Dutch don't need it as much, which is why we could get away with being camped in our base a bit. The livestock boom allowed Ports to get his factories up early so he could have an easier transition. And of course I had the entire map control left side, so Don could take some of my natural resources in here as well with the back mines. I didn't take like this mine or this mine, for example. I think there was like one here and one here or something. So I think Don took those. And he also had the resources over here. I think Ants had some here as well. But yeah, so summarize, abuse your civ strengths, realize what they can do. So their H2 pressure, their H3 units, the H3 unit combo. For example, longbows aren't proper skirms, so DOPs are going to be very good. Like none of these civs have like a proper skirm unit. Like German skirms aren't particularly good. French skirms are good later in the game, but you really want to be going goon cure anyway. And obviously longbows don't have ×3, so I think DOPS was the right call instead of just going war wagons, for example. And DOPS just have high siege, high pushing power. They need to react to those DOPS immediately. If they see war wagons base, they're just like, okay, I can Belvilles, I can just send my next war wagons over to deal with it. But if I send DOPS in, I siege this wall immediately, I'm on their eco, and they've got a micro goons constantly to kite back all these DOPS, otherwise they're just going to lose goons to DOPS. Meanwhile, I can be all over the map using my AP. It's like prioritizing APM as well. They've got to kite back versus DOPS constantly, otherwise they get a bad trade. So whilst they're kiting back and I just AFK the DOP onto the goon, I can take map control over here. I can just pressure on this side of the map. Meanwhile, they're distracted, constantly kiting stuff, and they're just losing vills without even knowing it. So I think DOPS was the right call. They got a lot of siege as well. They can even just take down this factory after they've killed these vills, but the game's over, so it doesn't really matter. And yeah, we see Wicked like prolonged industrial, but still veteran Ulons. Like I feel like he should have mixed in some Ulons much earlier. Like, imagine like 20 Ulons over here whilst these goons are just being greedy raiding. Like even just 20 Ulons would. There's some helps, but if they're 20 guard Ulon, they're gonna get a good trade regardless. Maito can even just put his cannons on the halbs, get a good like volleys onto them, whilst the Ulons just DPS a whole bunch of stuff. You probably lose the Ulons to like this many skirms and cannons, but you get a good trade out of it for sure if you got carded H4 Ulon. So yeah, their mistakes were just lack of hand cav and just too much ranged infantry, I think. Also, it's quite hard to wall on this map, so I managed to get Ulons through here and stuff like that, which is very annoying, especially as they're so fast. So I'm just going to try and wrap this up here. Just go quick look at the military graphs, the team stats. This was where they had so much... No, sorry, that wasn't it. Where's the trade that we got? That went really well. This one? No. Yeah, I think it was this one. Like shortly after one of us hit industrial. Yeah, I think this is where their longbows got cleaned up. Yeah, so that was a good trade for us. If we look at the villager population, you can see I got that. That was the vills on the trees that I did on the hunts that I didn't see behind the trees. And you can see that was the early pressure that did a lot, but then after that, Ports, that was the raid on the right, and then after that, Ports sort of got like a free time booming. I got a free time booming except for those vills. I didn't lose a single Vil. Actually, a couple here, but other than that, I didn't really lose Vils for like 10 minutes of the game. And then in the meantime, French is losing Vils quite a lot. Just here and there, it's not even like huge dips, apart from like that one, that's quite a big one, and these two. So he never really actually got to max Vils. You can see Wicked and Maito just drop a whole bunch of Vil pop at the end as well. So yeah, it's just like they just didn't have much map presence at all. Just like in this area, and then here, and then that was it.